because when the precepts, you need to understand the details of exactly how to maintain them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something we don't explain to the general public. So that's just only the people who are actually going to take the precepts, we give that explanation so you know what you're getting into. And since it's a little bit tight today, there's a lot going on, we might not have time to give a very detailed explanation. So we'll probably, I'm thinking just after lunch, we can have a short session for the people that are going to take the ceremony and give you a real quick overview. And then later you can listen to the MP3. You can even, in the meditations, you can listen if you have your phone, you can listen to it yourself. And or listen to it in the future is okay. So that even if you, we'll just give you the very basics and prepare you for the ceremony in a few minutes around the lunch break, and then you can get the listen to more detail. And the lecture is only 1 hour, so all the detail that you need is in that 1 hour. But you can pick up the additional details. Could be later, tomorrow, another day, and then you can also ask us questions. So, but initially, what we just need to do is just figure out who are the people that are definitely going to try to register, and then Master needs to check each form and approve, and we'll know who's going to do that ceremony today.
Mm-hmm.
So some of you, have already filled out your forms, and then we only have a few new people. Typically, taking refuge is like becoming a Buddhist. Were you here the other day when we talked about it?
No, I understood it when I got here, but we signed up just for everything, and it was not consciously. We didn't know, so I don't think that understanding what it is, I don't think that we are going to participate in the ceremony, even though we filled up.
I understand the form. You don't really know. You just check box.
Exactly. I'm sorry. We were just putting.
No,
not a problem.
It was our fault. So because we wanted to know if someone was maybe interested, but because we don't know everyone.
Mm-hmm.
For example, I only met Burke just once, so we wanted to put the option online.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess most people don't really know what's it about.
Yeah, that's fine. That's just for collecting information. But basically, taking refuge is usually people who already once are involved and they know more about who Master is and what we practice. Taking refuge is a further step that you don't typically do, right at the beginning. So it makes sense for you to learn more before you take that step. And so there's some others have been following Master and already know what Master's teachings are about and from before this retreat. So for them, that's actually, we set it up because we already made the request basically to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just an option that other people we can present it and see if there's other people who feel they want to join. But for the most part, it's kind of a separate thing that we set up for these few people who have already and kind of requested to do that. So I think I guess we more or less probably have the forms of everybody who wants to participate at this point. You're saying there's one more person?
Sarah, at least that I know of. The curly hair. Yeah.
So she's been with you for a while, right?
Yeah, she came to LA like once or twice.
Twice.
Yeah, twice. So many years ago.
Knows, she basically knows what she's.
Yeah, she knows what she's getting into. Other than that, I don't think anybody expressed interest.
Mm-hmm.
So
I think that's pretty clear. We know who the group is, and then just like around lunchtime, we'll collect those people, and I'll give you more details as far as the precepts. Everybody then can decide for themselves about whether, because the refuge and precepts are actually two different things. So people can take refuge and not take the precepts, or they can take refuge and then continue to take precepts. So for that, we'll just pick it up with the people who are actually ready to do it. And so that should be, as far as today, what we need to talk about. I think is everything. So we can go on to discuss other things. answer any other questions, anything else.
We have a newcomer. I don't
Yes.
really know
Welcome.
much.
It's my first time.
Okay.
I'm here to get more
Welcome.
information
Mhm.
and practice some meditation.
Good. Yeah. So you've never met before from your other sessions?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Okay. Good. Did you find it on Facebook, or how did you hear about it?
Facebook is
Okay, good. So, I mean, this is this type of retreat is pretty intensive. If you would have come earlier this morning, you would have seen some very intensive, struggling people. But basically, we learn to push our limits and sit longer. So the core of this Chan meditation is, it's only one practice, but it's a way that we can make more progress in our meditation. We challenge people to just push their limits and just incrementally, but keep building up how long they're able to sit. So the process is very difficult and actually is painful, and it's the pain of going through that is very good for you, it turns out, as long as you do, it's possible to injure yourself, so we have to guide you through it. But if you go through this process, it ultimately is very good for you. And that said, it's quite challenging, and a lot of people who want to meditate, maybe they don't want to be so intensive. They just prefer a more mellow approach. Like mindfulness meditation is very common. It's more mellow. You still get benefits. It's still very good for you. But the Chan, we have these techniques to help you move faster, to make more progress. We talk about, and the Buddha taught about different levels of samadhi. So samadhi is like your concentration power. So there's these eight initial levels of samadhi. And as we meditate, well, our goal is to keep improving. So we keep going and hope to get to a next level and kind of making progress, so that we're not just meditating to feel better when we meditate, or to which is good. For a lot of people, that's what they want to do. They just want to feel a little better, relieve a little stress. But for us, and what the Chan meditation is more about, is actually we want to improve. We want to become a better person, not just feel good for a half hour while we sit, but we want to become stronger, become mentally stronger, more patient and kinder, and just better people. So this process of challenging ourselves when we sit actually enables us to do that. So the sit itself can be very difficult, and we learn to endure more and more leg pains and discomfort. But as we train ourselves to do that, we're both physically and mentally become stronger, and then we become, for instance, better able to deal with stress. So we go back to work or family. The situations that would make us stressed out before don't even make us stressed anymore, because now we're just mentally stronger. So we can those things would maybe just bounce off us. Like before, we would get really angry, but now we can just go through that same experience, the same situation, and we don't have to get angry anymore, because we've just been through this type of training. So that's kind of the goal of the Chan, to make us better equipped to deal with life. And like right now, Sylvia is our only successful long sitter from the morning attempt. So she's been about, how long have you been sitting now?
4 hours.
Up to 4 hours. So she kept her legs in the full lotus posture. She didn't uncross her legs up to 4 hours. And now, so what happens is there's a pain barrier. So she was struggling a lot, but now it's easier than before, right? Yeah. So now we encourage her to just keep going, because now it's easy to keep going. Before it was much harder, but now actually she's getting more and more benefits out of that process, and then we'll get more healing effects. So, because she also has some physical problems. So going through this can actually really help heal physical conditions as well. So this should be.
I regret now telling you that my reward was doing more. If I didn't tell you about my health issues, I've been quitting after 2 hours now. The reward is doing more, doing better.
Yeah, now you know it's really important for you to do that. And this is just the perfect opportunity to get a head start and try to resolve this issue for yourself. So we can just demonstrate for you the full lotus posture. What we're aiming towards is for the left foot will first come on top, and then the right foot comes on top of that. So you start with that's a half lotus. You can sit like that. It looks like you're fairly flexible. Have you meditated before, or?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. That's good. So from there, you keep the foot as high as you can. It looks pretty good where you're at. And then you can slide the right foot forward.
But I think she's.
Oh, you have the other foot. Yeah. Start with the left foot first. Exactly. Yeah. And then then the right foot. Yeah. Oh, then that's okay. You might have to. You can still try and see where you're at if you bring the right foot forward to the front.
Mm-hmm.
And just sit there for a few minutes first and kind of relax. As your muscle might start to relax, your knee might come down a little bit. You can hang out there for maybe 10 minutes and then see, maybe in 10 minutes, possible you lift the right foot on top. But if not, then you just leave it underneath and you just sit. Yeah, you can just sit like that. That's fine, that's perfect. So it seems like you're more flexible on one side than the other, but it's not a problem, whatever. You just sit like that. And as you sit over, every day by day, the knee will come down more and more and more and more.
Okay.
And then when it comes down enough, then you put the other foot on top. So, like where in other kind of meditation, if they see you like that, they would run and put a cushion under your knee to help you. But that's not actually helping you. It will just make you stuck there. Whereas if you just sit like that, then you allow the knee to come down so you can improve, and then eventually you can actually go, further and go to the full lotus. So that's, again, that's the Chan style that will teach you how to keep pushing your limit, keep improving. But it's difficult. It is challenging. It's supposed to be challenging. And like we said, it's not for everybody. For some people that they don't really have that need to not, if you don't have some real problem to overcome, you might not be motivated to work that hard or to endure the leg pains. So sitting in a comfortable pose is fine. You'll still get benefits from meditation in a more comfortable manner. This is just really the kind of the fast track. So we just give you the option, but it's up to you how fast you want to go, how much you want to do. But for now, you can try to sit like that, see how it goes, how long you're able to. But there'll be some pain in your hip or your knees, and that's normal. It's part of the process. As long as you don't have like knee or hip injuries that you're aware of, then you should be fine. The pains are a normal part of the process.
In 10 minutes, I'll be alright.
Yeah. So just see how it goes, and ask us questions if you're concerned. You can always flag us down, even if it's in the middle of meditation. Just wave, and we'll come and help you. Take a look at how it's going. So we have this kind of retreat. We just keep doing. It's a lot of meditation, so it builds up, and it gets more and more challenging because we keep going. In daily life, we only have, maybe we do our morning meditation or evening meditation, but we have to live our life. So here is a special situation where we just all day we keep meditating, so it's more intensive. So it's a good opportunity to get a boost and to kind of, take things to the next level, and then we carry that, and that can help us with our kind of regular daily life practice. But it is very important to find a routine, like we talked about for our every day. If you can make a habit out of meditating. You've done some meditation. Is it something you do every day, or what have you done in the past?
Actually, I don't meditate every day. I look a routine and a discipline. So that's why I'm here. But I practiced meditation since 10 years. But I lost the discipline.
Mm-hmm. And so what is it that made you interested in meditation before? How come you started learning about it?
Concentration, yoga, and relax and focus.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, those are all all things that meditation will definitely help you with. But like, say, is there something in your life that made you feel like you needed to relax more, or to you have problems in your life that you're stressed out, or from work, or so that certainly there's a lot of tools, and the Chan is just more powerful methodology than other kinds of meditation. But we doing it with a group is helpful, and you get the support from other people. We all do it together. And then Miguel here and Bruno, who's not here, they organize regular sessions, both on Zoom and in person. So you can continue to join and participate in those sessions even after we're done with this retreat. So there's plenty of opportunities. But for today, just do your best. It looks like your knee is already coming down a little bit from before. So
I feel.
yeah. So good, and we have also my teacher is Master YongHua. He's also here, and he will come and lead the later lectures. So that would be a really good opportunity to hear from him, and you ask him questions. He has been teaching for probably like over 15 years. We have temples in Los Angeles is our main base, and now we have 4 temples around California, and 2 temples in Korea, since we started having many Koreans participate, and so we actually have opened some centers in Korea. So we have all these temples, and a total of, I'm not sure how to go, at least 15 monks and nuns that are studying under Master. So we just do our best to make this available for people. But so you're very, very fortunate, very lucky that actually Master himself is here, and to be able to hear him speak directly, and so that's it's a really good opportunity. Definitely ask questions. His teaching style is very much question and answer. So anything you want to ask about, just raise your hand, and you can get some input directly from him. But he's he's been through a lot of really intensive cultivation. He became a monk, I think, close to 30 years ago, under there's the Chinese master. So Master's master is Great Master YongHua. He came from China over to bring these Chan teachings to the U.S. And so Master became a monk under him, but then Master YongHua actually died shortly after our Master became a monk. So he actually struggled a lot, because he was initially expecting to study with Master YongHua and didn't expect him to die. He died rather early, in his 70s, but he died so early because he was he healed a lot of people, and so he just took on so much of other people's suffering that he just killed himself by doing that. But that was his way of practice. He would just heal people left and right, and is part of. I mean, it was part of what it built up a lot of faith in people in those early days in Buddhism to just see how incredible he was and how he could just heal people like that. But then the side effect of that was that there was all that bad karma and that sickness had to go somewhere. So he just took all that on, and it was so many people that he did that to that eventually he could only go so far before his body broke down as well. So anyways, that's just a little backstory. So Master was on his own and trying to study from the other disciples of Master YongHua, but he really didn't feel like he could. Most of those disciples, like they had studied with Master YongHua, some of them for maybe 20, 30 years, but when our master would try to learn from them, he just felt their understanding wasn't anywhere near Great Master YongHua's level. So he really struggled a lot in his path, and then eventually he left the organization and went on his own searching for other teachers to see if he could find anybody else, but he couldn't find any other teacher that really felt was on the level of Master YongHua. Actually, he tells some interesting stories. One time when he went to Taiwan to study, and there was one teacher, Master YongHua, who's a Dharma brother of Master YongHua, so like a contemporary. They studied together in China. So that teacher had a temple and was training people in Hong Kong. And so Master actually, he felt like he wanted to stay there. This was a really good place. He felt this was a good teacher. But he was, at that time, I guess, he felt that teacher didn't accept him. And so he tried to stay there for a few days, but I think, I'm not sure, he maybe made a request to stay, but he got no response. So he realized it wasn't the right place for him. He didn't get accepted. And so he was gonna kind of leave. He talks about he was just gonna sneak out. He didn't even want to say anything. He just sort of decided one day, okay, I'm gonna just get out of here without having to talk to people. But he said that on that day when he picked a time when it was lunch break, and most people are after lunch and everybody's taking a nap and knew nobody was around. So he was gonna just sneak out at that time. But then right at the time when he was about to leave, the old master, Master YongHua, came out of his hut, and that he was very old. He could barely walk. He was in a wheelchair or just hardly walking. But the master came out at this unusual time and encountered Master. So like he knew, and he just sort of, Master saw him and then he just left. But Master described how there was a moment where he felt very supported by this old master. So you get this positive energy, and I don't think he said anything to him, but just that he still carried that away, came away from that experience, feeling like supported and encouraged to go on, even though he was somehow not accepted, to stay there. And then he tells about how later in his cultivation he realized that Master YongHua, even though he had died, Master YongHua was still helping Master. And so that other master, Master YongHua, knew that Master YongHua was guiding Master, and that Master YongHua is a higher level than Master YongHua. So basically, he couldn't do anything because there's somebody better is already helping Master. So all he could do was kind of just say, keep going, and give him this encouraging feeling. But he wasn't able to accept him and train him because he already knew that Master had better guidance. So he had to just let Master go. So that was, on one level it was challenging. Master basically felt like he didn't find anyone, didn't find any guidance, and didn't really know that actually he was being guided still by Master YongHua. But he tells that story that he had that sense of connection and that sort of some kind of support from that teacher, which just helped him carry on a little bit more. But so eventually in his story, he ended up, after he searched and didn't find any other teachers, he found his brother in Long Beach offered him said, you can just stay here in my house. I have an extra room. You can meditate. So that's what he ended up doing for quite a few years. Then he started doing his own intensive practice on his own. Eventually was able to make some progress. And actually, he tells some other stories. He got some help from, more invisible help from, because there's a lot more going on than just this world we're aware of. So he got some help from the sixth patriarch, is a real key figure in Buddhism. From about 1,000 years ago, he was a great teacher, and a lot of his teachings are recorded, are still studied in Buddhism. So that teacher helped.
Where's my sister there?
Somebody there? Okay.
Yeah, I think she's there.
So Master YongHua actually also received help from the sixth patriarch. Talks about that in some of his stories. And so our master, he said he experienced in his cultivation this time when he was on his own at his brother's house. he was just sort of stuck or trying to resolve some issue, and then he had an encounter with what just seemed like an old man. He didn't know who it was, but there was an old man that sort of gave him some teaching. He didn't tell us the details of it, but in a supermarket, he encountered this old man. Old man just told him something that really just pointed out his problem. Later, when he went back to meditate, it just like opened up for him. And then he realized in his meditation that was actually the sixth patriarch appeared as that person to give him that guidance. So anyways, it's just like a little bit of a summary backstory so you know about Master. But after that, he started teaching. He actually says Master YongHua kind of came to him. He had, I remember when he just heard as a voice, Master YongHua told him, now you should teach. So, and initially he says he didn't want to teach. He was, at that point in his cultivation, he was just very peaceful and really enjoyed his meditation practice and didn't want to deal with other people. But then he got this instruction, okay, with the voice, which he knew was from Master YongHua, his teacher. The voice said, okay, now you should teach. So I think he said after a couple of weeks, he said, okay, I guess I should do this. So he started giving classes out of his brother's living room. There was, I don't know, it started like with his neighbors, people who he had met, and they started coming and he started teaching, and built up just a small group out of the living room that he started teaching. And that was before I came. And then a little later, there was another temple where they kind of brought Master in to start giving some teachings at that temple. And that's where I met Master. It was the original Lu Mountain Temple was our first temple. It wasn't Lu Mountain Temple. It had another name. And then later that temple was given to Master and became his temple. And then he renamed it Lu Mountain Temple. And that was the first of the temples, so we still have that location. But in the early days when I met Master, he was just teaching there, only on the weekends. But that's kind of where it started. Been building up since then. So I guess the reason I got into that was that it's a really good opportunity that Master himself is here, because now he's getting much busier. We have we have already 6 temples and we keep growing. So he's really busy, has to go to all these places, and so for the most part, like these types of things in the future, he typically will just send his other monks and nuns like myself. So, but the fact that this time he's able to make it is a really good and rare opportunity. So take advantage of that and ask him questions directly, and definitely this is a great chance to be here. Yeah.
So I have a question. So when I started, I was doing the Kung Fu, and I was really undecided on where should I invest my time. So my general question is, when you start, you really don't know anything about meditation, or for most people. How can you
trying to get things from you, or trying to get get you to pay more money. Those are signs that they're not necessarily a really good teacher. Because we're trying to learn. I mean, in Buddhism, we're trying to learn to get rid of our greed and anger and ignorance. So if you see traces of that, in particular sexual desire, that's a real key sign. Like there's certain Buddhist groups, and then they when their high teachers have these kind of sexual scandals, it's encountered other groups where that happens. The people that are leading the group get in these situations. Something is a little bit off, because that's for us as monks and nuns, that's the basis. Like we need to cut that off. That's how we can make progress.
On that context, I have another question. So my friend practices like some kind of Tibetan Buddhism, and he mentioned that because in his perspective, for these I guess high level practitioners, he kind of says that for them everything is empty, so they can teach some people using sex or some kind of sexual practice because they are free from it. And my personal opinion is that it sounds a bit off, but me myself, I don't know, my level is too low, but I try to avoid it. But for me, it feels like it's not in accordance with the Buddhist teachings.
Yeah, the Buddha did not teach about that. So that, from our standpoint, that kind of practice is to be avoided.
Okay, because it's supposed to be like a secret. He tells me like a secret practice. It's not for everyone.
It's very. I mean, that's pretty common in the Tibetan kind of world. They have that. I don't know how that got, where they came up with that.
Yeah, and his explanation is they normally teach you something that you don't like, so they use it for you to advance further. But I mean, what I say to him is, okay, they do their things, I do my thing. I really don't know, but I don't want to. For me, if someone asks me, I think it's a little bit suspicious. But I just wanted to know if Master he ever mentioned something about this kind of practice.
People have asked him before. Master is pretty clear that that's not the right way to cultivate.
Okay.
You don't have to. Your friend will do his own thing. You don't need to tell that to your friend, but it's not something that's advisable from our standpoint.
So I guess these monks that do these things, they will have problems in the future, right? Yeah.
I mean, I can't really comment on those monks.
Okay. Yeah.
But just as an approach, it's not recommended, not something you want to get involved in.
Okay. Thank you.
So, any questions or anything you'd like to ask about? This session is actually only a short one, right? So
we are over a bit, I guess.
We can probably just continue. What time is it now? It's 10:15. Oh yeah, 10:15 is actually just. Yeah, that's the start bell. So we can take do some walking meditation. Except for Sylvia. So walking meditation is also a form of meditation. Just clear your mind. We just walk around clockwise in the room here. And then after that, we'll continue with sitting.
Cuidado, Rafael. Rafael.
It is gorgeous here in Lisbon. If you feel that you're full and sleepy, so do I. Thank you. for such a good lunch and good company. Let me warm up while Master YongHua gets here. It is a pleasure to be back here with you. I didn't expect to be able to come because we were supposed to start earlier, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like in April.
Mm-hmm.
In April, we were in Korea, so we couldn't come. So I was about to send Master YongHua, the abbot of one of our branch temples, to come here. But it turns out that we decided to delay this event here for a month, and that's how I could free myself up. So I'm glad that we all agreed to delay it and get the chance to meet with you. It's kind of nice to me, for me to come here because I love Europe. Europe is such a beautiful, beautiful place, and so cultural, with lots of museums. But I'm particularly grateful that you show interest in our Chan Dharma. That we like to, which enables us to share with more people here in Europe. So for that, I'm very grateful. I realize in Europe there is primarily meditation-wise, you only learn Hinayana meditation, right? There's really no Mahayana teachers here at all. Am I correct?
Yes.
Primarily, that's it. There are really no Mahayana teachers here in the continent, and therefore it's a shame because I know you can benefit a lot from meditation, and it's a shame that you don't get enough exposure to good meditation from the Chinese, which was brought to the U.S. and we're sharing that technology with you. And so it is a lot more comprehensive than the typical European meditation traditions here available to you, whether it's Tibetan, whether it's Hinayana, Thai, or Sri Lanka, and so forth. The Mahayana meditation is a lot more comprehensive, and because we understand what it takes to train the mind. I like to say that the mind here is not what you think. You go to school, you get an education to train your mind. And what happens to all of us is that we neglect our heart. We're not training our heart. And that's what Chan meditation is about. It's about training the heart. You grow your mind, will help you grow your heart. Make it bigger and bigger and bigger. Okay? What kind of big heart? What does a big heart look like? I don't know. I would use the word kindness. I would use the word compassion. Okay, and that's the kinds of people that we seem to have a lot of affinities with, a lot of connection with. The kind of people who prefer to be kind and have compassionate life. And it's typical here. We hear because the people here in Lisbon decided to share the experience of China experience with more people. And that's why that's our connection. And so what we do, what I've been doing all these times, I've been meditating for a few decades now, and what we do, I realize the importance of growing our hearts, okay? Because it's neglected. People here in our realm, our desire realm, our world, neglects growing our hearts. Why is that? Because we didn't know any better. We didn't know that we're supposed to. No one ever told us. I spent half of my life pursuing worldly things, and then one day I realized I was very unhappy. I got close to what I wanted to be, rich and powerful, whatever it meant or whatever it was. And I realized I would not like myself if I got there. So I stopped. I was so confused. So what am I going to do with my life now? All my life was geared to all the education, all the personal sacrifices, everything geared towards success. And got close to it and saw the next level of what success is like. I said, nah, I would not like myself. Not that I was liked at all at the time. Yeah. So I was very lucky to meet with the Chan Dharma from my Chinese master, my Chinese teacher. And a stroke of luck. I was looking for meditation teacher from a Vietnamese master who has been practicing at the time for 40 years. He wrote a book on meditation, Hinayana meditation. And it's the only book I read. So I said, well, let's go and learn from him. And he wasn't home. So I was brought to Master YongHua's temples, and that's how I was exposed to it. And my first exposure is atrocious, was atrocious, because what I was taught is so confusing. It seems like every single disciple of his understood Chan differently. There's no uniform. For example, I would cross my legs, unlike you, I would cross my legs for 5 years, 6 years. And I wasn't sure I was doing it right. No one told me. And so I tried everything. I tried shallow, I tried halfway, I tried up and everything. And so that's how I learned. I learned by experimentation. I learned by doing. And unlike right now, we have a track record of training people in China here with full lotus. It's clear there's a one way to do Chan meditation and so forth, and one way to cross your legs. And so it really simplifies it for you. So my learning process is very confusing. I zigzagged a lot. I tried a lot of things. And I failed so many times. And no one corrected me, no one cared. So, but somehow, one thing that happened was that I lucked out because I had enough blessings not to quit. Because it was confusing, there was no light at the end of the tunnel, and somehow any smart person would have quit already, but I didn't, because I hated failure. I refused to fail. That's always my drive. I hate failures. Okay, so I kept going, and frankly, because of my prior blessings, I was able to get out of the force, get out of the confusion. So that's my first message to you. You need blessings to make it. I know in your world you say, okay, I go and pay money for a class and I get a degree and a diploma, I get certification. It doesn't work like that in the spiritual world. You need blessings. Okay? And the blessings are the real key determining factor of your success in life, in every single pursuit in life, as a matter of fact. It's a determining factor of your health, physical and mental. Your professional success is also based on blessings. So your meditation progress, attainments are also based on blessings. So that's something that the meditation teachers find it hard to explain to you, okay? Because it's rather difficult to introduce the concept to the Western educated people. Whereas in Asia, it's ingrained in the cultures already. You know, in India, in China, throughout Asia, you know, we know that we're supposed to lend our blessings. When we see the Sangha, the monks, the nuns, so forth, we're supposed to make offerings to them. But it's not the case here. In Asia, in my generation, we can sit here and people will come and kneel in front of us and then put down and give us money, give us food, give us whatever. They'll look at us. It's funny, in the Hinayana tradition, if you're a woman, you want to give me a cup of tea, for example, the monks carry this roll of cloth. He rolls it out. And you put a cup of tea there and I roll it back. That's the tradition. Isn't it shocking to you, right? It's shocking to you, right? But that's how it is. And that's how they maximize their blessings, by the way. You laugh. Actually, we're laughing at you. You didn't know. This is how we maximize both our sides, both blessings. You see? So it's rather difficult for us to try to convey that to you. And furthermore, it's also the concept that ingrained in Asian cultures where when you see the Triple Jewel, the Buddha, the Sangha, and the Dharma, you're supposed to make offerings. In the past, for example, a monk would see the emperor, and the emperor says, "My mother has a headache. Can you help?" The royal physician cannot do anything. So the monk said, "Okay, no problem." He helps the migraine of the emperor's mother. Emperor becomes very grateful. So he built like 20 temples for the master. Okay? One migraine, 20 temples. You see, it's kind of tradition like that, where, you know, it's no longer is the case. Yeah? For example, in Asia, they have a temple that's built because they found a relic. You know what a relic is? Oh God, you Europeans are so ignorant. Master YongHua showed them some photos of our relics. No? And you see in Malaysia, in Sri Lanka, they built in, like Sri Lanka, you heard of that big stupa, the golden stupa? Huh? Okay? That because it's to house one tooth relic and some hair of the Buddhas. Okay? An entire temple made of gold. And they have 500 soldiers stationed there permanently to protect the temple. And the president of Sri Lanka, I'm told, has a room there. He goes there whenever he feels like it to get away from the madness and collect his thoughts. Okay? That's how important it is for them. They know the importance. Okay? And so it's typical in Asia for people to build a temple because they found tooth relic. YongHua, you haven't found any relic yet?
Yeah, I found some.
Yeah, I showed them so. Relics are the things that remains after you cremate the body. the monks, when they die, they don't bury it. They cremate it, they burn everything, and what's left are those relics. So Buddha, after he died, they found 84,000 relics, meaning countless relics. And for some reason in Asia, the tooth relics are highly prized. Okay, you find a tooth relic, you're incredible. Many temples in Asia and China, for example, are built because they found a tooth relic. So the local people would build a big temple to house the relic. Okay? And so lots of things here in the West where it's an uphill battle. But that's part of life. And so we adapt. We took the Dharma from the Chinese and we adapted to be more palatable to the Americans and the Westerners like you, like me. I'm Western educated. I look like I'm Asian, but I'm not. It's not what you think. Okay? So to me, it's shocking when I firstly came, and I was shocked that my master, my Chinese master, was a Chan patriarch. Chan patriarchs are the certified teacher. You cannot go wrong. You go and learn from the Chan patriarch, Chan master. That's it. Learn from the best. Okay, and so I was surprised that he's so advanced, and yet his students, my generation, were so ignorant. He's very much like, they never learned, they was never trained how to teach. Okay, so it was shocking to me that to us Westerners, where especially for me, from a corporate perspective, we're supposed to replace ourselves. Okay, we can't leave without replacing ourselves. And for me to see that they really don't understand at all how to teach, it's shocking. Okay. See, those are relics. Is there any tooth relic there? A huge tooth. Your tooth there? This big. It grows to be this big. So we have a lot of them.
This is from far away. It's
And there are no temples to house those things. Okay, so that's why in the West it's a re-education and adaptation for us, because I'm a Western educated person, so I feel that I don't deserve any help, any respect. I have to earn it. Okay, there's no such a mindset for me personally. So that's why. But we preserve the training techniques. Okay, that's why I'm so pleased that we have a chance to share this with you, this technique with you, and we hope that we'll be able to share with more and more and more people. We've been doing this for a while now in the U.S., and for some reason it gained momentum. So we actually doing okay, much better than I anticipated. Yeah, and so we got so crazy and busy that I thought I need a vacation. So that's why I'm here. Okay, so why is our Chan different? You see, they're different. Look at you look at us. We're sharing this. We're not rich by any means. We're not supported at all. Actually, we're loners. We have no support whatsoever. Most of the monks, most temples, they belong to a big association. where they send disciples to each other's temples, okay, and to support them, okay, and do fundraising and so forth. We don't do those things. We simply practice. We call it cultivate. And whoever wants to come, we glad to show. That's it. And that's what we do. And somehow it's drawing some attention, a lot more attention, maybe because of the results that people get from the Chan practice itself. Yeah. Actually, quite a few people got a lot out of it, and they became very grateful, so they decided to share it with others. Okay, and that's what I'm doing as well. I was a rather, honestly, a sad person. I look at all of you, I admit to you, I was a lot worse than any of you. Okay, and I'm ashamed of that. And from practicing Chan, it changed me totally. 95%. Okay, the 5% is still crazy about pizza, wine. That doesn't go away.
And red cars.
And red cars, that's daydreaming. Okay, yeah. And so we love to share it with you because we got so much out of it. And I really hope, I sincerely hope that you go slow. Okay, it took me years before I understood why I was taught to do certain things. It took me a long, long time. And what we're doing, when we get with you, we're sharing all those techniques with you. So be patient, give it time. You see that it will work. It will change you. You'll get so much out of it. Yeah? All right. Any questions or comments? Yes.
Thank you, Master. Could you please elaborate on how I or we can generate blessings?
We generate blessing by helping others. That's what is called giving, practicing giving in Buddhism. Okay? Giving, what is giving? We can give wealth, give money, give red car. Okay? Just in case you forgot. Why is it no one takes me seriously? I'm baffled. Something wrong with my message, clearly. Okay? Anyway, you give wealth, you give your body organs. I don't recommend it, by the way. Don't do that. You're going to regret it. Okay? Because when you cut off after you die, I mean, if you cut off, someone sticks something in your ears and plug it out. Pluck it out. It still hurts. And you get so afflicted that you fall. So please don't. You have organ donation here? Mm-hmm. Any of you is organ donors? Mm-hmm. Yes. You're going to be sorry. And I told you so. You find out I told you so. Never mind. It's your life.
It's giving.
Huh?
It's not okay to imagine if someone was dying. Why not?
This lady contradicts me all the time.
sorry, Master. It's not
good thing I
just
don't take it
want to
personally.
understand. I just want to
Did we give her
understand.
food today for lunch? No, right? Okay. Okay. Absolutely, you're right. It's okay. What's nothing wrong with giving. However, let me ask you this.
Okay.
Right now, if someone comes to you and say, "Can I have your left arm?" You're right-handed, right?
Yes.
Okay, I'm not asking for the right hand. Can I get your left arm?
No. Because I'm alive.
Same concept. You need it, yes?
Yes.
After you die, you still need it.
Okay.
Because if you cut off the arm after you die, you'll be in great pain. And because of that great pain, it's so painful that you will fall.
Okay.
It's a lot worse than you cutting off your left arm right now. A lot worse. Trust me. So that's why we don't recommend it. Unless you have the samadhi power where you can, even if someone cuts off your arm, you still are experiencing no pain, by all means, do it. But if you cannot handle it, don't do it. Because no one told you. No one told you what happens after you die. After you die, you still have 49 days. Okay? After your last breath, you still have 49 days. Where if you're not careful, you will fall. You will suffer a lot more than what you're suffering right now. So that's why. That's why you have to be careful. All right. So, where was I again?
Giving, practicing giving.
Oh yeah, give your organs, go for it. It's amazing. We told those things that sounds good, but then no one tells us about the consequences of our actions. Okay, the effects of our actions, the kindness. We should be kind, but not to the point of harming ourselves. The kind that we're teaching you to practice will elevate you, will bring you to the higher realm, make a better person out of you, will not get you in trouble. That's the difference. Okay? So to create blessings, you need to practice giving. Yes, by the way, when you give away your organs after death, you're creating a lot of blessings. But guess what? You don't get to use them in the next lifetime or for a long, long time. Okay? I'm sure you're not prepared to do that. Okay? Should be smarter. So you learn to practice giving in a smart way. Okay? So you practice to give wealth, you give, what's another form? A form of giving is a give of dharma, like I'm doing right now, I'm giving you dharma. I'm practicing giving myself as well. You give me today food, that's a giving of wealth, okay? So you give the dharma, you explain to people, okay? The dharma to people. The dharma is wisdom, so you're sharing your wisdom with others, okay? And finally, the third one is giving of fearlessness. Well, and you see, that's the wisdom, Buddhist wisdom that the non-Buddhists do not have. Because my first reaction when I learned about the 3 types of giving in Buddhism, I said, why fearlessness? Of all the things, I can think red cars, I can think buildings, I can think countries, but why fearlessness? Okay? And finally understood fearlessness because it's for future reference. Okay? What's a giving fearlessness? When people are afraid, come and comfort them, reassure them, things will be okay. Okay? And so that's a giving fearlessness. Reduce the fear, the anxieties, that's to give fearlessness. That's important because when you get to higher levels, you will not become enlightened unless you have to pass the test of fear. And the fear will come and will stop you dead in your tracks. You're so frightened that you will back off. So, for example, beautiful spiritual penetration. He has a lot of beautiful powers. He can fly, he can see things. Okay. You can hear things in the heavens, in the hells, and so forth. Yes. And one day, he wrote a letter to Master YongHua. He said, Shifu, meaning Master, I'm under attack by 3 demon kings. 3 of them are attacking me. What do I do? He's frightened. He's frozen. You don't know what to do. He's near becoming enlightened. That's what happened. You see the wisdom and the vision of the Buddha has, our teaching, we saw it already. It's going to happen to you eventually. That's why we're preparing you for it. All right? So you have the blessings of being fearless. By giving fearlessness now, start giving right now, practicing right now, comforting, consoling others who need to be consoled, who need to be comforted. That is to give fearlessness. It's very important, a lot more than you think. See? That's Buddha's wisdom. He's incredibly wise. Okay, so my master didn't write back. He immediately called him up and said, "This is what you do, boy." All right? So that's how you create blessings. Create blessings by practicing giving. Okay? Meaning that you give when you can. And the mindset should be to give. Why? Because the more you give, the more you like it. If it doesn't make sense to you, give some more. Okay? So my master, for example, his entire life is to give. He gave and help people and help people, help this person, next person, next person, next person, so endlessly. Okay? Never asked anything for himself. He taught me, helped me, but you know, all this time here, the last 30 years or so, he never asked me for anything. Nothing. Never. Not a single thing. Nada. Is a nada here? Nada. Okay, nada too. In Espanol. Okay. Okay, so that impresses me. He never asked for anything. And that's what makes it so special. That you're able, you see this kind of person who can give and give and give. And that's the kind of wisdom that worldly people like us would not be able to understand. And that is the secret to happiness, by the way. You give. You ask the wife, my generation, the wives make sacrifices. They go to the husband's household, have to renounce their family and become part of the husband's family. Yeah? Not true here? Talking to the wrong people. So my generation is the case. Okay? And we built, they built to give and give and give. And if I can relate to you, maybe I saw in my own mother that she liked it when she's serving people, eating. We were all eating, a whole bunch of us, family and relatives eating, and she's running back and forth from the kitchen and serving us. And she took pleasure in doing it. It's not something you do anymore, you see? So that's the kind of value systems back then, okay, of that generation, where you give, and by giving, you take pleasure. And I'm just an example. I'm sure in your life you find yourself giving, and that gives you joy. If someone told me, I see you enjoying yourself, it makes me happy. It's such a cool thing. That was a long time ago. Okay. So anyway, so to give is to create blessings. So that's what you primarily do. You give. So when you come here, think of it. I started to ask you to start practicing giving. Well, giving, being kind to newcomers, and encouraging them, and try to help them as much as we can. That's creating blessings. That's creating blessings with Mahayana. All right? Any other questions? Yes?
Is there any other ways besides giving and meditating as to create blessing for?
Absolutely. Giving is fundamentally the process. As you give and you have blessings with Mahayana, with Chan, then you're able to benefit a lot more from the other things. For example, if you have a blessings, when you listen to my talk, for example, or the sutras, or the mantras, you have this type of benefits that people without blessing will not be able to have. Okay? I heard someone screaming this morning. Was it here? Like someone being, that's you? Seriously? I said, someone being tortured? And what happened? No one did? What happened to, what did we do for him?
Oh, well, encourage me to continue to sing. And they laughed.
You enjoyed it, didn't you? Cruel people. Yeah, that's my kind of people. Okay, so what happened is that, for example, Miguel talked to me and said, I think I'm regressing. I said, yeah, probably. You meditate? I said, no. Probably he feels that because of the crossing his legs, his meniscus is damaged or whatever, maybe. Could be a pre-existing condition that only developed very quickly because you were doing the wrong style of Kung Fu. Possible? A lot of people practice Kung Fu, by the way. They damage their bodies. For example, in Korea, when you practice Taekwondo, eventually your hip ligaments will be torn because they kick too much and they don't warm up properly. It happens to so many of them. It's amazing. So the martial arts, by the way, is not a natural practice, natural use of your body. Okay, I'm not making excuses. Okay, it's a combination of factors. But the point here is that he doesn't practice meditation anymore. Okay, so he asked me, am I regressing? He said, well, most likely, yeah, if you don't practice, what do you expect? And guess what? He didn't regress. He actually made progress. Because?
Giving?
Giving? And because? See, he doesn't even know.
I don't know.
See? Just do it. You don't have to understand. That's the whole point. Okay? Because he listens to the Dharma. That's the secret. The other practices, they only teach you to walk in mindfulness. Okay? That's mechanical. It's not complete training. Chan is not about sitting alone, not about crossing your legs alone. It's all about listening to the Dharma. That's our secret. In the US, I sit with my students, my 6 or 7 students, not as many as you. Okay? It's sad. Every Saturday morning, I go there and teach my Chan class. I have 6 or 7 people sitting with me. Whereas my students have 20, 30, 30. No one comes to me. Well, anyway, it's not sitting alone. We sit for an hour in the US, and then I talk to them for an hour. Every single time. My master, when he taught meditation, he would, the rule is that you sit for an hour, then they speak Dharma to you for 20 minutes. I do it for an hour. So I triple the training in the talk side for all these years now. It's always been an hour with me. Okay? And so that's because that's part of the Chan training is to listen. Listen to the Dharma. And how does it help you improve? Yes, sir.
We are learning the principles.
So I learned the principles of geometry. How does it help me improve?
You learn to listen and talk less.
I learn to listen to my wife and talk less. I'm not any happier. Look at him. Yeah, so true. Okay? Yes, sir.
Yeah, I feel that it points the heart, not the brain, the heart in the right direction.
The heart in the right direction. Is it north, south, east, west? Which direction are we talking about?
Well, away from stupidity, anger, and greed.
How does the heart go away from stupidity, anger, and greed? He's talking like so abstract. Can we have some meat and potatoes? Yes, sir.
Yeah, for example, what to do and what not to do. For example, when you mentioned yesterday that it's important to know what's normal, what's understandable desire, and what's just too much, for example.
Okay, very good. Mm-hmm. Anyone else? Yes, sir. Now it comes back to him.
I think we plant the seeds,
We plant the seed.
and when the occasion arises, we know what to do. At least sometimes.
He's planting seeds too, isn't he? When you hear, the seeds are planted in your consciousness. You may disagree with me, lady. I mean, anyone. But it's like farming. In order to have rice, you need to first plant this seedlings, and you have to work, and then the rice will grow. That's what it takes. That's the human wisdom, right? Because we didn't know that, we'd be starving right now. We have no rice. The Asians are dead. We'll be eating bread. Okay, so that's our combined wisdom, don't you think? That we know how to plant rice, how to grow wheat, how to grow fruits and so forth. That's wisdom. Same thing here. In order for good thing to sprout, you need to plant the seed to wisdom in your mind, in your heart. All right? Okay, what else? Why does it work? Yes, sir.
I feel listening to your talks also helps me to enter like a more samadhi-like state.
Okay. Anyone else?
It helps you to think properly.
Helps you to think properly. So, it doesn't pay to think properly, clearly. Does it? Well, here's the secret. Remember, I keep on talking to you. Okay. we're not sharing this one. This is usually a paying session in America. I'm running out of things to talk to you about today. So, and plus I have a good lunch, so I'm in a good mood. Wow. Here's the secret. I keep on telling you about making progress. Yes? I said, you practice meditation to make progress. All right? You want to make progress, you want to improve. Every time you improve, you become a better version of yourself. It's like software updates in your EVs. Anyone drives an EV? Not here in this board, clearly. Okay? I hate EVs, by the way. So it's like you have an update of your iPhone. What phone you use? iPhone or Samsung? I'm cautious because in Korea, I would say Samsung. If I say iPhone, they get very upset. It's Korea for you. Okay? So here, what do you use? Samsung, the whole mix, right? Chinese, American, whatever, right? Whatever suit your fancy. See, you're all mercenaries. Okay, so you become a better version of yourself. Wouldn't that be cool? I know you don't care, but your wife cares that you become a better version of you. No? Your girlfriend cares. Guess what? Your son cares. Because one of my Korean disciples, she started doing Chan and she struggled a lot. It was a lot of pain, but the Koreans can take the pain, unlike you. Okay? And they're used to being tortured and abused and so forth. That's a culture, and they just endure. And she took, she sat longer and longer and screamed and was in a lot of pain and frustrations. And then, lo and behold, she came to the class and said, something happened to me, I changed. Now I feel better about myself. But I'm running out of time. I don't have time to meditate much that much during the day. And the son says, Mom, meditate some more. Why? Because he says, ask him why. He said, because Mom doesn't get as angry as often as before. When you endure your leg pains right there, you become more patient, naturally. It's the nature of the process. You become more patient. That's it. You don't get as angry as often. Okay? You're less angry overall. It's a fantastic thing. Okay? And so that's what I mean by a better version of you. Really, people will notice the difference in you, especially the ones who are close to you. Okay. And so that's what the improvement is about. Improvement is about you are doing fewer wrong things. What we like to call you creating fewer karmas, bad karmas. You're creating more good karmas. That's the result of the improved version of you. Like an EV can, because the software update, can have more mileage after the charge. Same thing for us. Your improved version will be a lot more pleasant for people around you. Most of the time. But when you get angry, you're scarier than hell as well. Okay, and that comes with the process. Okay, it's a natural thing. And so that's why, that's the secret right there. The secret is that Chan meditation, when we tell you, to cross your legs, is to help you train. Okay? This is secret training here, special training process that will reduce your ego. Okay? Because in the real world, worldly people, as you become more successful, the ego grows. In our Chan world, when you become more successful, the ego shrinks. So that's what we call improvement. Improvement is you become more compassionate, you become kinder, you become less egotistical, you become more patient, you become gooder, I like to call. Not better, gooder. Okay? It's about goodness. It's not about better. It's about being a good person. Deep inside. That's what improvement results in. Deep down inside of you. You become gooder. And it comes out naturally. So that's the Dharma. When you listen to the Dharma, like what we do in our here, is you learn the right and wrongs. If you are good, then you don't do such things. Goodness, by the way, is more of avoiding doing the bad things than anything else. Take, for example, organ donations. It's a good thing. But if you do it the wrong way, you get in trouble. And you cannot recover from it for a long, long time. So you lose. You know what a long time means? Billions and billions of years. And how long it is. Are you willing to wait? That's what happens when you hear the wrong advices and you do things that will get you in trouble. You don't realize it. It's very hard to get out of trouble. Okay? And so that's why the Dharma, when you listen, is very important. Listen to Dharma, and you have the blessing, then it clicks. You say, it makes sense to me. If you don't have the blessings, the heck with you. I'm out of here. You nonsense. You have no blessings, that's what you're going to do. You have the blessings, okay. I try for a while. Okay, that's what it is. Yeah. So that's a secret. This is why for people to go to a meditation, to meditate and go to sit, and then when the time is up, the time they pay for is up, they stand up and they leave. It's not meditation, my friends. It has to be the Dharma as well. Are we doing Dharma? No. You have to talk to people. Okay. Yeah. Any questions? I thought we were supposed to stop at 2:45. No? Oh, now he's nasal bleeding? Yes. I see, somebody. Should we ignore it? Or in the morning, if someone screaming, you ignored it. Should we ignore this one?
Stefan is a doctor, so he'll be in good hands.
the kind of doctor who screams when he's I don't know what kind of doctor that is. Any other questions? Yes, sir.
So I have a question. You mentioned we should share our wisdom, but if we're not very wise, don't we have some consequences if we say something that's not accurate or wrong?
Yes, absolutely. That's why you have to be careful. Don't make the mistake of sharing wisdom before you were asked. That's the most common mistakes. You go home and say, hey, mom, guess what? I learned something so fantastic today. Don't give away your eye, okay? Not the left one. Okay? And then I say, what are you talking about? You see, you wait for people to ask. Okay? And even if they ask, you look at them and say, are you for real? Seriously? Do you really have this problem or not, right? Don't jump, hey, I know what to do. No, you make them wait. You make them ask for 2 or 3 times. That's what I do, okay? Because we're not sure whether they're joking or they're serious or they're just shooting the breeze with us, okay? So first of all, you have to wait. So that's what most people who learn about these little things we tell you, and you get so excited, you run away, go home and tell everyone, oh, I'm such a wiser person now. I know things about death that I didn't know before. No one else will know about death, including donating your left arm. Okay? All right. So you wait. And number 2, you really don't have any wisdom yet, okay? Because you're at your level, the wisdom doesn't unfold yet, okay? So what do you do in that case? You use someone who has real wisdom, like Master YongHua. You would quote and say, well, in the situation, let's see what Master YongHua says, or someone says, okay? That's what I would do. Okay. And I say, be careful, I don't have any real wisdom. Okay. But from what I know, this is what you should consider. It's still better than, to me, my father and my mother never told me anything. Mm-hmm. I too am an organ donor. Okay? But I'm regretting it. Just like you in my younger days, such a generous thing to do. I would not need my heart anymore. Why not give it away? You know, someone else who can have better use of my brains than I did my entire life. Just have so many good reasons. Except no one told me that I fall. I would regret it visibly, and I would probably curse the people who taught me those things. Anyway, all right. So you have to be careful. That's all. Be humble. Know what you are. This is something that my disciples don't quite get yet. They think they're special. They're not. All right. Anyone else?
I have one last question.
One last question? One last question or last question? Okay.
Can we share blessings?
Can you share blessings? Absolutely. Blessings are just like money. It gets stolen. It gets spent. I have a problem. I have money and I worry someone's going to take it from me, or my students spend too much. Okay? So, money actually, for your information, money is a withdrawal of blessings. Money comes from your blessings. When are you going to rise up to that? The reason we have money is because it comes from our own blessings. So if you have your own blessings and you say, you know what, I have too many blessings, I think I can give it away to my children, to someone I care. So you say, okay, here, the blessings. You can do that with money as well, right? Same thing with blessings, that's all. You can share, you can give it away. Yes. Anyone else? Yes, sir.
Yesterday and today, every time I sit, I feel a lot of anxiety that comes up naturally. I want to know what does that mean and what should I do?
What does it mean? Okay, you psychology majors, what does it mean when they have anxiety, when they meditate? Would you like to lie down?
I would like to lie down.
In the US, when you go see a therapist, if you lie down, doctor. I noticed that there's some psychology majors here. Please help him out. I'm no psychologist, no therapist. Don't look at each other. Come on, take a stand. Yeah. Huh? What's going on?
Ghosts are arresting us.
Huh?
Ghosts are arresting us.
Ghosts harassing us. Good Lord. Anyone else?
It's the energy coming out.
Energy coming out. Okay. Go fall for mine, you know. It's so easy to trip you. I don't know how you can live your life like this. Oh my God. So what's your question again?
I just wanted to know why every time I sit, and when I'm not sitting, these 3 days it didn't happen. Every time I sit, I feel...
By yourself or here?
Sorry?
You sit by yourself?
No, I just
You sit here?
Yeah. So
And you get anxiety, you feel anxious.
Yeah, naturally, like almost immediately.
Almost immediately. Whoa, how cool. I wish I could do that.
That's cool.
Not cool to you.
It's, I think it's more uncomfortable than the pain, physical pain.
What are you anxious about?
I don't know. A lot of stuff, but
What are you anxious about? The thoughts of anxiety must be anxiety about something. You're anxious about
I
something.
don't think it's thoughts, it's more like a feeling.
You what?
I don't think it's thoughts, I think it's more like a feeling.
You're feeling?
Physical.
Feelings of anxiety. Okay? You're doing full lotus or half lotus? Half lotus. Does it hurt? And the anxiety is stronger than the pain?
Equal.
Equal? Okay. So what you do?
Endure.
Endure! Thank you! You did learn something. Why aren't you doing it? Just do it, you find out. You do it, and what happens? Anxiety and pain. Yes? You endure it, what happens? The pain. No! The pain increases. And guess what happens to anxiety? Pain will go. That's how you overcome anxiety, overcome depression, overcome anger, overcome greed, anything. You have an edge over me right now. I have to sit for a long time before I hurt, like 5 minutes. For you, it's instantaneous. See, that's how you overcome everything, by substituting the pain for all the little things that bother you. You find out that it's so easy for you to overcome anything right now. Okay? It's a great start, and then eventually you develop the skills that anxiety, gone. Anger, gone. Cold, gone. Anyone else? No questions? We begin to cross our legs and do okay. Okay, you are good warriors, you're not even afraid. Okay, good luck to all of you. I come back again at 7, I think. Okay, and I'll talk to you for last time. Don't be afraid. It's about recovering. Who cares if they laugh at you? I don't care. I just want to walk away from here as soon as I can. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, boss.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. You are cool. How do you feel? Okay, not bad, huh? Okay. Let's see. Stefan,
Thank you, Master.
you feel any different?
Yes, I feel lighter and happier.
Lighter and happier. Why? You were screaming this morning. What time did he started? It's like an hour or so. I was sleeping. Oh. What kind of dream is this? Yeah, so how come?
Well, I feel like the sitting released some negative stuff. That's why I feel lighter. That's the way I feel right now.
The way he feels right now. Can you describe your feeling besides light or whatever?
Maybe also a bit relieved.
Relieved? You see? He's struggling in describing what he's feeling. Anyone else can describe how you feel right now? Young lady, you're hungry.
That's easy.
Walking around all that food right now. How much food we have. Yeah? How do you feel? Okay, as compared to yesterday.
For me, I feel better. Much better.
Much better? Oh, you're lying.
But with pain.
Okay, anyone else would like to describe how he or she feels? Anyone? Come on. Don't be so shy. Yeah?
I would say calmer.
Calmer. Okay. Anyone else?
A bit more comfortable, I guess.
More comfortable. Okay. Okay, what else?
More sore as well.
More sore. Okay, now we go into negative stuff. Isn't it amazing that you put yourself through this self-torture? Because it's your fault, it's not ours. Don't blame us. It's your fault. You choose to do this to yourself. Notice that? Okay? All we do is, hey, it's a good thing. It's you who are doing it. And for being willing to do this, you experience these things that you didn't feel this way before. You can summarize it by you feel better. You feel worse, but also better. Yes? You're sore, you're tired. At the same time, your mind feels better. Feels more peaceful, calmer. You look at me. No. Isn't it? The pain liberates you. The discomfort of your body, you put yourself through, liberates you. If you were to play sport, for example, or do martial arts, for example, okay? After doing your thing, you're tired, right? You're exhausted, okay? Does your mind feel calm or peaceful? Not at the level you're experiencing right now. True? I play sports, I play a little bit of tennis, a little bit of this, and you know, I got exhausted. I never felt this peaceful. Okay? And after you play tennis, it takes you a day or two to recover and so forth. It will take you some time to recover as well. But the difference is that this method here helps you experience the calm and the peace that you cannot otherwise experience in other ways. Yes or no?
Yeah.
That therein lies our problem. We know the state you're experiencing. We know how much more wonderful it can be if you continue and you follow the training. Okay? But there's nothing we can do about it for you except talk. That's our limitations. You need to yourself put yourself through this process for you to know what it's like. It cannot be described. It cannot be explained. You have to experience it yourself. It's about a journey of self-discovery, you will. You cross your legs, you meditate, and you go through this, you're discovering about who you really are, what you're capable of. And all our teachers, my teacher did, is tell us that do that, okay? And go that way, and you go as far as you can, and the further you go, the more you discover things about yourself. You understand yourself a lot better, a lot more than before. All right? In understanding yourself, you become happier in a way. Okay? And if you go through this process, the further you go away and you go along, okay, the more you understand why you're asked to do certain things. Personally, when I started, my teacher basically didn't teach me at all. He taught his disciples. I was the last one, the second to the last one. The last one was a professor. And I was allowed to become a novice monk. And a few months later, a professor was allowed to become a novice monk. He was older, an exception. And then he came back to his place and he continued to translate Chinese text into English and teach or whatever. And so that's it. So I was practically the last one. And I was never really taught by my teachers at all. He never told me, how to sit in full lotus, why you need to sit in full lotus, if it hurts, it's a good thing. No, none of those things. I have to discover it myself. Now for some reason, in the midst of all that confusion, all different interpretations of my teachers' Chan training, because clearly none of his disciples really understood Chinese Chan. That's why their instructions are contradictory and they fall short of what Chan is about. And it shows right now. Your generation, the third generation of Mahayana, on their side is basically a bunch of idiots, confused, okay, blind followers, and unlike you, who I stress to you that you should improve, you should become a better person. You don't have to waste your time doing this. Okay, if it doesn't work for you, get out. Find something else better to do with your life, with your time. Okay? And over there, they are so blind that they so say, oh, this is the best thing possible, so we just follow. And it's so blind, it's so stupid. Okay? We're better than that. You're better than that. We cannot afford to waste our lives. Our time is precious. The most important thing, the most precious thing in life is your time. As you get older, you realize that. And you realize, like I did, what did I do with my life? Okay. Anyway, so it showed that they didn't really understand the Chan teaching my master. Whereas when I came in, even though I never talked to him directly, and I started practicing on my own because I was disenchanted with their practices and conditions arose, I had to leave and went out on my own, and I experienced dire poverty, let me tell you. I knew at the time how much money I have in my pocket to the pennies. It's how bad it is. Okay? But was I depressed? No. Was I angry? No. Did I blame my teacher? No. What drove me, for some reason, is the three things that we recite every single morning ceremony and evening ceremony. Okay? Freezing to death, we do not climb on conditions. Dying of hunger, we do not beg. And dying of poverty, we do not do not seek. Those are the three things somehow stuck in my mind. So I was very proud. What does it mean? You don't climb on conditions. It's about the fact that from in our lifestyle, people come to us and make offerings to us, give us things, and are supportive of us. We don't take advantage of that situation and ask for more. Mean to climb higher and higher and higher. Get more and more out of our supporters. That's what's meant by climbing on conditions. So after I left, my teachers, disciples, published to all their disciples, our disciples, that I was a bad person, a bad monk, therefore would not support me. Basically, they put an end to my career. They tried to put an end to my career as a monk. And so they helped me If they shut the doors on me, I cannot climb on conditions. It's perfect. Okay, so I have no choice. So that's easy for me to do. Next, when you're hungry, you don't beg. We don't beg for food. Okay, and what does it mean to climb a condition versus begging for food? Okay, to climb on conditions refers to our innate greed. We want more and more and more. It's never enough. Agree or disagree? That's us. We want more. Can I have more of this? And more money? More. I don't know. We have so many desires. We have more. We want more and more and more and more. That's why the first principle we adhere to in our way is we don't climb on conditions. It reduces our greed. It puts a cap on our greed. Make sense? It helps tremendously. Okay? And the next one is we do not beg. That is, even when we are dying of hunger, we will not beg for food to save our lives. Why? Why not? Because that's something I like. Personally, I like it. Because again, I was put in a position where I begged, they would not give it to me anyway. Okay. What it means that even if your life is at risk, you will not lose your dignity. If I die, I die. I will not beg because I'm afraid to die. So you learn to not be afraid. And you value your own dignity. When you value your own dignity, that's when you learn to respect others' dignity. If you think it's important to you, then you need to reciprocate. Yes? I like it. That's point number 2. And principle number 3 that stuck in my mind throughout all this confusion and all these contradictions is that when you are so poor, you don't seek. And that's what helped us in our lifestyle detach from worldly things. We are prepared to, we're not seeking wealth, we're not doing this, we're not living our lifestyles in order to be comfortable or to make gains. I loved it because the detachment from worldly things, worldly possessions. Okay, and that's what I wanted to share with you today. It's really helping, and that's if you do that, it's this kind of insights. For some reason, I subscribe to it, even though it's not explained to me. My teacher never explained to me, hey son, this is important, stick by this, okay? No, I just read it, I say somehow it struck a chord with me. And that's what really determined provided the guidelines for me personally in my spiritual practice. Why is it important? I'm sharing it with you because those were the instructions from the greatest, the wisest men I've met. And for some reason, I liked it. I was proud to live by it. And it's only because it's not the first time I heard it. Because it's the first time for all of us, this is nonsense. If you die, what happened to a lady who disagrees with me constantly? If you die, how are you going to cultivate? How are you going to continue to do Chan? You see? So logically, intellectually, it doesn't make sense to us. Okay? But for me, somehow it makes sense. And the only explanation is that it's beyond rational thinking. It makes sense because it's not the first time that I heard it. Number two, that I used to live like that before in a prior life. So now it makes sense. It's just a natural thing to do. Okay, and so I'm telling you this to remind you that Master YongHua, my Chinese teacher, has a lot of wise teachings. I think if you listen to those instructions yourself, you probably pick out things that will make more sense to you than to me. So each one of us is different. The point is that we have materials in English, right? And it's fascinating. Most of you speak English, okay? All of you speak English. And it's an advantage for you. If you have a chance, please listen to his Dharma in whatever format you have. Read it, listen to it while you're driving or whatever. It's going to help you tremendously. Trust me. Okay? His instructions are fantastic. Okay, and when you listen to them, just listen. If you don't understand, it bothers you, ask us. We'll be glad to explain to you eventually. But keep on listening and listening like I used to. I used to listen to his tapes. I only have about 40 cassette tapes. I kept on listening over and over again in English. That's all I had. Now you have tons and tons of materials in English. Okay, it can be downloaded somewhere, right, Master YongHua? Are you awake?
Yeah, it's available.
It's available. Can we provide them with the link?
Yeah, I have to.
I highly recommend it. Trust me, it's fantastic.
In English, there's not a lot.
Mm.
There's only the reading from disciples, but there's there's a lot of books in English, more books than audio.
Yeah, PDF files, whatever. Okay, so we should have a library of those things to make them available for people. All right, any questions or comments? Yes.
So, has any monk or nun ever actually died following those guidelines that you know of?
There was a monk who was a year ahead of me when I became a novice. He was a novice already a year ahead of me, and he became ordained, and he died because he was sick. At the see the 10,000 Buddha, he's Taiwanese, and I don't have all the details, but he refused to go see a doctor, so he died. And they cremated him, and they claimed they have a sharira, they have a relic. Okay? So he's no ordinary monk. Yeah, I heard of it, and at the time I thought it was weird that in the U.S. you would be sick and you would not go see a doctor. Yeah, that's weird. Okay. But it seems to be what they do over there. The Chinese are weird. Same thing happened to me. I was a novice. I went down to Long Beach Monastery. I was working, overworked, and I surmenage. I don't know what's the word in English. Or so I overexerted myself, so I became sick, and so I would lie there in my room, and no one gives a darn. They didn't even come and ask me. Okay, they would not know, you want to eat lunch? I said, no. Next day, you want to eat lunch? No. In a typical temple, they would come and say, would you like to eat lunch? If you can't eat lunch, can we bring food to you or save you some food? No, this temple, they're weird. And they say, you want to eat lunch? Okay, we eat more for you. And so I was lying there. It's similar to that situation where they don't do anything. Totally weird. But I decided to recite the Great Compassion Mantra. So I would pass out, wake up, and recite the mantra for about 4 or 5 lines and pass out again, and wake up and recite wherever I could remember. And I was doing that for about a week, and I recovered on my own. I could have died there too. Okay. So what happened is that a person died, yes, but I think it's because whatever the reason is a lot more than I know, a lot more involved in that. Same thing, why I survived, I don't know why. Okay, I don't know why I decided to recite the Great Compassion Mantra for all the mantras I knew. That's all I did. Okay, and you know what it means? When you recite the mantra, basically you're asking One Yin Bodhisattva to help. Namo Landana Yola Ye Namo Ye. You're calling to her. I'm calling to her for 5 sentences, 5 lines, and then pass out. I come calling. And she paid me, okay, boy. And so that's what happened. But is that extreme? Those 3 principles, are they extreme? No, actually, if you follow those guidelines, you can get there a lot quicker than otherwise. Your spiritual path will be a lot further, a lot faster. That's why he taught us. And finally, what's the meaning of those 3 principles? Basically, we, in our lifestyle, we need lay people support. We don't go and get a job. Okay? We're beggars, but we don't beg, unfortunately. And so my masters were basically were telling me is that if you pursue your spiritual practice with utmost sincerity, okay, then people will come and support you. If you're worried about worldly things, will I have enough to eat? Will I have enough warm clothes to survive the winter? Will I have a roof over my head? That's a worldly concern. He says, none of those things. Okay? You just concentrate on your spiritual practice. And that's what he said. And afterwards, I realized that if you do those things, we have a lot of Dharma protectors, spiritual beings, invisible beings, whose jobs is to protect us in our spiritual practice. You know, today, for example, the last few days here, there are spiritual protectors here protecting us. Okay? I will tell you this. Next weekend, come back here. You see that this place here will not be as peaceful. Guaranteed. And the following week will be even less peaceful. And even less, even less. Why is that? It's because when we come here, our Dharma protectors come here and protect us. So they evict the troublemakers from yoga. Anyone? Next door yoga. So because when we don't have the right to do that. But when we take over a place, we have the right to say, this is our place for this time period. Or when we buy a property, that's our property. This is our domain. You cannot come in without our agreement, without our approval. So that's why for this duration here, we own this place spiritually. So the troublemakers cannot come here and cause trouble. So we have to throw them out. Okay? And that's why it's a lot more peaceful. See, feel how peaceful it is right now. Maybe it's because you say, oh, it's finally coming to an end, all this pain and suffering. Oh, you weaklings. Okay? So that's why I finally realized that, later I realized that if we concentrate on our practice, there's nothing to worry about. Okay? That's why I'm trying to teach my students. Nowadays, in the West, the monks and nuns like us who do spiritual practices, even in Asia right now, they have to worry about paying rent. They have to worry about paying for their clothes, their shoes, their transportations. And so in Korea, for example, most of the monks and nuns have to work, either for the temple or go teach at a school or somewhere. Okay? There's a proud nun who's been a nun for 50 years. She's a professor at some university for 15 years. She came and said, and she was interested in joining us. Look at her and said, "You stupid." He says, "Say what?" in our world, 50 years is like, you are a hot shot. But I said, "You're stupid." And then I explained to her why. You're so stupid. You don't understand anything. You don't understand Buddhism at all. How dare you spread that kind of stupidity as a nun? If you're a lay person, I don't mind. Okay? Because they get certified, get a PhD, and go find a job, that's perfectly okay to me. That's the worldly standard. But for us, if you're stupid, you don't understand Buddhism, you shouldn't spread your stupidity, not as a monk and nun. So I told her. She didn't like it at all. So she lost interest in joining us. But in our world, actually, there are more than you think. More spiritual beings that are said they're protecting us. They also are waiting for the chance to support us. Okay, so really, we really have nothing to worry about. Okay, for example, let's talk about the good things and talk about all the depressing things where we're hungry and we're not made for food. Come on, that's too much for you, right? And for me, for example, I would love to come to Europe. Okay, and when I first started, I just started teaching because my master up here, when I was meditating, he said, "You should teach." I said, "No." My first reaction, no. I said, because my rationale is that when I was struggling, when I was hungry, when I was desperate, where were they? Who supported me? No one supported me. Why should I teach now? Okay, it's too much trouble for me. I was very happy meditating all day. Why should I take on more hassle? okay, and take on your burden for people from strangers. And so I started teaching. Had no real big ambition. I just said, okay, I will teach, I will elaborate, explain what Master YongHua meant in his teachings, because his disciples could not. I will help explain it. That's my contribution to Buddhism. That should be good enough. That will justify all the investments, all the support I got. And then more and more people came. More and more my students improve, way beyond my master's disciples level. So I said, oh wow, am I in trouble? I cannot do what, I cannot simply interpret Master YongHua's anymore, because his teaching was taught at his disciples level. It's not as effective at higher levels. So I started having to add more to his teaching, more advanced things like what we call sudden teaching. He doesn't do that much, by the way. He does not explain much about sudden teaching. His is like 3/4 up. And then above it, it's more like sudden teaching. So I started adding more and more and more. And so that's where we are today. We are today is that we are going to places and teaching and helping and sharing what we have. We don't have a whole lot, but we share what we have. And we're seeing that more and more, people really appreciate it, really need it, especially young people like you. People like you, who just, I see and myself in all of you, in that I was confused. I was, I didn't know which way to go, okay? Which direction I should take and so forth. No guidance whatsoever to pursue the material things I was supposed to pursue. Like success and happiness and so forth, as a recipe for disaster in the way that we are, the way that we talk, the way that people think. So in contrast, I saw that my disciples who used to be like you, who have your jobs, just like I used to be like that. I became a monk and I saw how the Chan changed you, and Chan changed the lay people like you, disciples of mine as well, and saw how as they improve, one thing that's kind of interesting, their relationship with the family members improve a lot, which means a lot to them, for many of them. And then they also perform better at work, and that's it's very simple. If you become a better person, you have more stamina, your mind is faster, you are wiser, then everything you do is better, naturally. Okay, so that's what happens. So my students, my lay disciples, my lay students, they become better, and now naturally they get promotion, they get salary increases and so forth. They get promoted because I have more time now at work. I go to work 8 hours, but I can do my work in 5 hours, in 4 hours. Huh? Yeah. So might as well get that promotion. Go for that more increased responsibilities. You see, that's what we do. That's what you do naturally. Okay? And so I saw how everyone improved. And so I enjoyed it. So I said, I would like to, if I'm given a chance, because people are improving, or everyone's improving, then we should have a chance to share more and more of these good things with more people. Okay? And so my job is to train people, train the teachers, teach the teachers, if you will, lay people and left home people. And then when we have enough manpower, then we expand. We go to a different place, another place, and then share our knowledge and our expertise. So we went to Korea 4 years ago because I was invited to go to Korea. And then because my Korean disciples got a lot out of it, and they realized that they wanted to help their countrymen benefit from it. And so they arranged for me to go to Korea. And so, and then we have the manpower to be able to do that. So maybe in the future, I'm hoping I can go to Europe because we have more and more people coming, joining us, and I need time to train them. Then eventually I'd like to have a place here in Europe and to propagate Chan, propagate Mahayana, because Europe doesn't have it yet. Okay. That's all. Very simple. If it happens, it happens. It doesn't happen, I won't go sleep over it. All right. Any other questions? Yes, sir.
Thank you, Master. A couple of Dharma talks ago, you mentioned that Chan, you find that your Pure Land Dharma door is actually higher than Chan now. I wonder if you could elaborate on the Pure Land Dharma door as well, maybe.
Yeah. When I started teaching, I decided to teach both Chan and Pure Land because no other teacher really understands it. Especially my master's disciples. They don't understand Pure Land at all. So that shows to tell you that Pure Land, the way that they were taught, the Chan that they got from Master YongHua is not high enough to understand Pure Land. And so that's why I said, well, it's no way I have the kind of wisdom and power and discipline of Master YongHua. I would get a subset of his and only teach Chan and Pure Land. So how do I do that? I did that by starting to teach Chan, because with Chan you see the methodology, you see results with you very quickly, and that's how you believe. You see it's for real, okay? Because you yourself, you see the benefit, reap the benefits, okay? But Pure Land is another animal where Pure Land is basically another galaxy, very far away from you. What happened to the guy who has a heart condition?
He has to go home.
See? So this galaxy here is called Western Bliss Pure Land, where it's just the exact opposite of ours. Ours is made of dirt. Over there, the ground is made of gold and jewels and gems. Ours here is full of suffering. Over there, you don't need to look for a house, you need to buy a house. You're given a house. As soon as you go there, you have your own house. When you cultivate, your house gets bigger and bigger and better and better. You don't have to ever look for a job. You won't ever go hungry. If you want to eat anything you like, you get it. You don't have to cook. Isn't that cool? So all the exact great things that we don't have here are available there automatically. Too good to be true. Yes? What proof do we have? None. That's the difficulties of the Pure Land approach. How can we tell you about something that we cannot help you experience? It's a big problem. If you believe blindly, then basically you might as well follow a cult, right? And we've been accused for being a cult, by the way. Quite a few people think we're a cult. If you do stupid things like don't charge for classes, don't charge for food, don't charge for staying overnight, how stupid can that be? And so they ask, how do you survive? How do you support yourself? I said, why do I need to support myself? It's not my job to support myself. I'm a monk. Why do I have to worry about supporting myself? Wait a minute. You worry about supporting yourself. I don't have to worry about supporting myself. Because if I don't have support, I stop. I don't worry about it. When I first started, I have $3,000 in my bank account. I started going, I was in LA, I went to San Jose to teach, and I would rent a car, $20 for one day, 24 hours. Drove from LAX, the airport, to San Jose, teach and hurry back, and return the car. Okay, I was smart. I would pay $20 plus another $19 for insurance. And one day, I scraped the car pretty bad. So, pretty smart thing to do. Anyway, so I used to do that. And the money kept on running out. Okay? Because I never asked for, hey, I'm here to teach you. Can I charge you? Are you willing to pay me $10, $15, $20, $40 to pay for my gas? No, we don't worry about it. I said, if I have money I can pay for it, I pay for it. Okay? I will have to ask for you. And if money runs out, I stop. It's that simple. And so after 3 months, the money ran out, so I stopped. So anyway, so that's a problem with Pure Land Dharma Door. We help a lot of people go to the Pure Land, but all they have is like dreams, like sensations and so forth. And so this particular Pure Land Dharma Door requires faith. And how can you help you build faith on something you don't see? That's why we put first emphasis like here, train you on Chan, okay? And help you understand and experience great things on the Dharma. And then when the time comes, you will have to worry about your next lifetimes, because it doesn't end here. Okay, to think that at the end of this life, everything stops, everything goes back to emptiness is nonsense. You will take on the next body. So Pure Land Dharma Door is the chance for you to stop this madness, because you take the next body, take on the next body, and then after that lifetime, you will take the next body, on and on and on. That's called the wheel reincarnation, which we all been in there for a long, long time. Okay, so if you were to go to the Pure Land, you go there, you don't ever have to work, you have all the amenities, you'll be so blissful, you'll be so peaceful, you'll be so happy. Okay, and in one lifetime, you become a Buddha. You never have to suffer again. That's fantastic. And that's why there's two dharmas here. Shakyamuni Buddha comes here in this world. He says, okay, a lot of suffering people are supposed to suffer. Come here, I teach you. And then he collaborates with Amitabha Buddha, who says, if you send me your people, I take care of them. I will teach them. I will take care of them until they become a Buddha. So that's the combination. Okay, of Chan and Pure Land. Chan, you're supposed to suffer until you become enlightened, and all suffering will cease eventually. But Pure Land, no suffering whatsoever. Zero suffering. It's fantastic. Okay? And it's quite difficult to understand. That's why you have to be at a higher level before you're able to be trained, to be taught, to understand it. Okay? So that's why my teachers, disciples are not high enough. They don't get it, unfortunately. Okay? But they're pretty good about it. They don't claim they get it. That's why I respect about them. None of them dare stand up and say, I understand Pure Land. None of them. They're very decent people. Okay? Yes, sir.
So what do you mean? Maybe it sounds funny now, but what do you mean by when you die, you go to the Pure Land?
Yeah. Instead of taking on a body around here in a Saha world, you move to the different world and you become a resident over there, very far away from you. And you may say that, well, I'm young, I'm not worried about it. That's funny, the guy who was afraid to die right there. What choices, what chances do you have? What all the information do you have about your next life? What if it's true what I'm telling you? I may be selling you, maybe try to pull your legs, try to fool you, okay? But if I were right, okay, wouldn't you be missing on an incredible opportunity for your father, your loved ones,